See if you can't get it up for an Old Firm because there's no fans, you shouldn't be at when you're Celtic.
Scott Brown, there's a lot of talk about him now. Is he past it?
I'm just praying for one thing. No the bag trips in January, man.
He's went for about 25 million to about 8 million.
I'd rather have Morelos in my team than...
Right, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first episode of the Top Binz podcast. If you're looking for a wee bit of a watered down version of open goal, you like that one, boys? That's exactly what we're trying to do on the internet. I just thought we'd come on and have a wee conversation about football, especially right now, used to Celtic fans. Talk to me.
It's not going well, but I think if you get your core group players, you get Edward and like Forrest. I mean,
Edward's back training for the Lille game.
Aye, but it's Lille. But look at all the games he's missed. Like, see, when you look back at the cup final, when we get destroyed and we still won 2-1, or 1-0, sorry, 2-1, 1-0, was Edward changed the game straight away. The first 5 minutes we were on the park, he won the free kick. That free kick was crossed in, Julian scored.
See, he was out for the Old Firm because he had Corona.
Aye.
And it's like 2 weeks later.
He ended up getting an injury or not.
Did he get an injury or not?
Aye.
Would you think?
See, for me, I think that... I know what you're saying in terms of Edward and Forrest and other players that make that line-up stronger are missing, especially for the Rangers game, AC Milan game, but I feel like Celtic should be winning the games. Do you know what I mean? Okay, AC Milan's a harder tie, but Celtic should be given a better account of themselves than what they did against Rangers, I feel.
Well, definitely, but I think it just goes down to, see if you stop the individual errors and you just start playing more fluently. Like, see when you watched the Milan game, where there's a free at the back for the first half, and to be honest,
that's another thing, sorry to interrupt you, that's another thing. I feel like against Rangers, I felt that we were set up so wrong. I think that Lennon's a good manager. He's obviously, you don't agree with that, no?
I don't know. I was looking at Celtic fan. He left Celtic. Who did he go to first? Bolton. Then he did right at Bolton. Went to Hibs. Done mediocre at Hibs. Got the sack, and now he's a Celtic manager.
I don't know. It's something to be passionate about. What isn't it?
I mean, put it this way: you put Neil Lennon in there.
I think Lennon done well at Hibs.
Lennon's first spell, he won trophies, and then he beat Barcelona at Celtic Park. When you look at he had like 24% possession,
I think
and still
he's
won.
a tried and tested manager. I think he's a good manager, but I feel the criticism that he's getting, I think it is fair, because I think that he got it so wrong in terms of what he done in terms of setting the team up against Rangers. I feel like if we were set up with a back four, I feel like we would have gave.
But see the end of the last season, right? Celtic went 3 to bat, and obviously Edward and Griffiths was up front, right, and he's were winning like near enough every game, right?
Yep.
The start of the season, he's went for a 4, and then if everyone was saying go back 3, go back 3, go back to back 3, he's went to back 3. So when does it become a point of it's not about the formation?
No,
it's
it's when you've got the personnel to do it. We want 3 at the back, right? But then
who was the back 3 centre backs last year? You had Julian, Ayer, and
it was Simonovic, or Beaton came in and played as well.
But I think exactly what you're saying.
Hamid, but Beaton, El Hamid, both out because coronavirus.
Exactly what you're saying.
And then you get Stephen Witt. Like, you're not going into an Old Firm game, right? And say you go 3 at the back. You've not got the personnel to do that. Why would you start on 18-year-old Stephen Welsh?
That's the difference.
An Old Firm that's a big game.
That's the difference. I think that the 3 or 4, whatever you want to play, whatever. But I feel that when the personnel that was out, I think that you've got to be able to adapt. I think that Steven Gerrard's basically done so well at Rangers because he can adapt against other sides when he comes up against them. When Celtic came up against Rangers, they should have known we've not got the personnel here to keep going batter.
I feel like the Rangers just sort of went
right. So basically, we need to defend that. We need to play our best lineup in terms of keeping Rangers at halt and try to get a result. Do you know what I mean? You could hold it to 60 minutes and then bring on Griffiths.
Why is Griffiths no starting?
It feels like Neil Lennon's just turned a bit like as if he's like threw the toys at the pram a bit. He's went, he's want 3 at the back, then have it, and then we're like, well, it's not working, so he's went, he's wanted it, just take it. Just keep taking it. That's what he's going to get.
I mean, we're talking about Neil Lennon as a Celtic manager, right, and we're saying done well and that, but that's because Scottish people know who who Neil Lennon is, right?
Yeah.
See you're Christopher Ayers, you're in Shams. See when Lennon came out and said that players want to leave, do they want to play for them? Like,
Well, that's
play
the big
for
thing.
them?
He said, if you want to leave, tell your agent to contact me. But then not one player left after it, so
I'd say it's definitely Ayer, at least one of them.
I don't know, because even the AC Milan manager came out and said that they were interested in him. If that interest is there and Ayer wants to leave, you're going to strike up a deal.
Don't know, but you don't
And
know.
there's the fact that you bring in Shane Duffy as well, right? Who on paper, excellent signing, right? Aye, well that's what you, right, but see the thing is, he isn't, but I think he's just done what Joey Barton's done. He's a good player that's come into a Scottish League, thought he could stroll it, and then his first 2 games he scored a header like, straight away in both games, and then he's Scotland's fast football. Like seeing you watch the Premier League, you watch Pogba and watch all these players take a touch, heat up, couple of seconds, then bang. So when it's here, touch, players going right through you straight away.
What I think about Shane Duffy, being a wee bit unfair there in that, but what I'm saying is I think that he's a no-nonsense centre-half. He's obviously good at what he does, but
have you seen any nonsense? But
why have Celtic went and bought him? They don't need that. They need somebody who can go and defend first and foremost, but also play. Shane Duffy struggles.
But that's what I didn't watch a lot of Brighton, right? But I can't imagine Shane Duffy was sprinting balls about the park.
He's an 18-yard box defender, but and now he's
head on the ball and playing the ball. That's it.
Do you think
Celtic
he's went for a team that gets dominated by your Man City's, Liverpool's, Man U's, Arsenal's? Do you know what I mean? Like big teams that imagine going for like a Ross County, right? Getting dominated by teams across the board. And then suddenly you're in one of the top teams in the league, and you're suddenly need to hold on to the ball constantly and pass it about, and then you're not defending.
So
you're
just like see if you're in the Premier League, I think, and you're facing the likes of Martial Aubameyang every week. I don't even think Shane Duffy's looking bad on the ball. He looks as if he doesn't know how to defend. He actually looks as if.
I think
like at that Aberdeen game at the weekend, Davy Boyd and what was it, Bruce Anderson or something like that? I can't remember.
Scott Wright, aye, done well.
But he had him in his back pocket. No, he's not. I don't think. Like even we were talking about this the other day. Celtic, I don't think Aberdeen necessarily played great at the weekend. We spoke about this. I don't think Aberdeen were like amazing attacking. Even Derek McInnes said at half time they went in at 1-0 and they had barely done anything. Aberdeen, Celtic literally were that bad at the back that they were like giving goals away.
I agree with you. I think that Shane Duffy struggled on Sunday. He struggled big time defensively. I'm saying he's a no-nonsense centre-half and he's good at what he does. Celtic wouldn't have bought him if he wasn't good at that stuff, but that being said, I think on Saturday he didn't have a good game. I think that he struggled pace. He struggled terrible with that. When Scott Wright came on, tore him apart.
Why is that? How can a Premier League centre-back just come and just...
Because like I said, I think he expected to go up and stroll it. Like, so you must walk about it thinking, I'm going for Premier League, I can come in here, and then suddenly he's not getting time in the ball, and then when he does have time in the ball, he's passing it to the other centre back who's passing it back, just wee passes, and then next thing you know you've got 2 strikers on you.
I would argue against that. I would say Shane Duffy's doing more of the ball at Celtic than he would at Brighton. Brighton don't...
He's maybe getting more of the ball, but he's not getting time on the ball when he gets the ball.
When you see, like for instance, at the Old Firm, punted it long the whole game, even at the weekend. I seen Griffiths came on, right?
I disagree with you on that one as well.
Griffiths came on the park, right? The first time Shane Duffy got the ball when Griffiths on the park against Aberdeen, he points it long to lead Griffiths.
I feel as if he does think he's a superstar. Like as if he must like walk about the dressing room as if he thinks he runs the place.
Like against Rangers, we look at it and say, after Rangers got their goal, they just sat in and gave Celtic's defenders the ball. Shane Duffy had that all the time in the world and all they done Celtic was they pass side to side, and I think that's where it's letting them down, to be honest with you. Formation setups are 3, setups are 4. I don't
think this is letting set.
I think it's the style of play Celtic. I think they're getting too caught up in how Rodgers played.
That's what I think as well.
I think that's going too slow side to side.
You say getting caught up in how Rodgers played. He's invincibles under Rodgers. He's won everything under Rodgers.
That's under Rodgers, and I think that Lennon needs to create his own style.
Well, he had his own style. It was direct.
Lennon's style was to free at the back.
But I feel like the Celtic have like on some sort of lead. Do you know what I mean? It's like we'll back you and we'll give you the money, but we want you to still kind of play that way because it was working really well before. And I think John Kennedy's got a big say at the back room. I don't know, but I think he does, because when you look at the first spell, right, Lennon had Johan Mjällby, and that was like a really good partnership and they worked well. Whereas I feel like Lennon's just got a backroom staff, like Strachan came in.
It's like he didn't pick his backroom
staff. He didn't pick his backroom. Like Rodgers left and he tried to take John Kennedy with him as well, because that was his backroom staff. He took Colo Toure, that Lee Congerton as well, who was absolutely hopeless by the way.
It just goes to show how important these things are. Do you know what I mean? It's to make a team tick the way Rodgers had Celtic ticking. It's all these things in the
background. You're right in there, team tick. Right, so what's the change in? I'd say
get a team up front.
Yeah,
but he's not reliable. That's it. Like he has when you get him on the park, but it's getting him on the park.
Make a decision then. Is Lee Griffiths going to play? If he's going to play, you literally just play him. See if Lee Griffiths can't commit to playing week in, week out, he shouldn't beat Celtic, and that's just the way it is.
I kind of disagree with you on that one, because I think that you look at him, he came on for 20 minutes or something on Sunday and he scores a fantastic goal.
What if he starts?
Yeah, absolutely.
He started against AC Milan, didn't he?
I think
that pulled off at half time.
We're talking about AC Milan and we're talking about Aberdeen. Like, it's two different. Like, he could have. But
if you're going to play for Celtic, you're going to play for Celtic. You need to do Europe and the league.
100%. But if you throw Lee Griffiths in, who's no starts, and then he just starts a random game against AC Milan, you can't expect.
I tell you something. I've not seen anything yet that I like for Klimala.
But I don't know, he's a £3.5 million player. I'm not saying that he should be good for that, but put it you can't just be throwing away £3.5 million. And it's the same with Rangers as well. Sometimes you make a signing and you're like,
but it's a gamble. But every signing's a gamble.
But this is an offer away, isn't he? Like, what merits a move to Rangers and Celtic now? Because Klimala was in Poland, but he scored like 7 goals in a season. Like, how does that get you a move to Celtic?
It can be anything, but just a scout might like the look of you and then he passes.
To be honest, I think like with Klimala, I think that basically, I mean, against St Johnstone he's came on, and I thought that he's basically won Celtic the game with his movement up front, and in that the goal that he scores is just pure dedication, how much he wants to go and score the goal. So I actually don't mind the look of Klimala the now. I've not really seen too much of him, but I think the game against Rangers, it's a really hard ask him. Do you know what I mean?
But what I see for him is a guy that's got a lot of heart, but not a lot of talent. Because see when you look at it, but like how many, and this is like from the limited game time he has, he's missed a fair few sitters. Fair enough, he's like run up the park and scored like after that, right? But it's like these sitters, see when you play against your AC Milans, your Leals, and then your Rangers, and then your Aberdeens. So I mean, these are like you're going to get in these positions, you're going to need to score, so you'll never get a chance at that.
We're talking about that, like what needs to change. Do you think Lennon needs to go?
I don't personally. I think I don't think you can judge that now until he gets his full team back. Because see when you look at that, Gerrard's not had to deal with. Like, fair enough, like you've had like the odd like a Rebo or whatever.
I mean, Rangers have had a few injuries, I know.
No, he's had a few injuries, right? But imagine he's had Tavernier, Morelos, Kent.
You're just picking different positions in the park. We didn't have Ryan, Jack and Rebo.
But this is that's
two centre mids that would start. Aye, but we're not playing, user no players, so we've no players.
No, I'm not saying that, but I just mean
that is a manager's job. When players get injured, you need to have players ready to come through. And that with Rangers we have.
But it's not even injuries, but it's unforeseen circumstances which is happening.
It doesn't matter how they're out. See if they're not in the park, you need to have players able to come in. We didn't have that. We didn't have a who stepped in? Arfield. Who stepped in? Stephen Davis.
Who did we lose in the space of a week? Christie,
they did have a lot of bad luck,
and then you've got El Hamid, Beaton, and Forrest was injured before that. But that's just 4 for coronavirus for international duty. If it was me, I wouldn't like my players going to international duty.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it wasn't just Duds coming in. There's a £3.5 million striker, and Klimala. There's a 16 million signing from Southampton.
But he didn't sign up for 16.
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
But it's easy to just fire a price tag on people, right? Because at some point there was like when you went through the whole Kushinya era of because see when you look at they go back to it's like Celtic fans looking back, they're destroying teams like this, right? See, you look across that whole team, fair enough, they're all Mexicans and Colombians and stuff like that, but he spent a lot of money on these wasters.
I agree with you in terms of, you're bringing a £3 million player into play. I think that, just getting back to the point I said, I think that with the team that Lennon had, yeah, it might not be full strength, but they should have gave a better account of themselves than what they did.
Register a show.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was just.
How
really,
do you
really
have
poor
I
to
mean,
watch.
alright, the no fans of the Old Firm. I thought that was just horrible.
Yeah,
That was the weirdest
obviously,
Old Firm, honestly.
I'd say, I've said it time and time again, but I don't think Rangers players without fans will play better than Celtic fans without fans, because I think Celtic ride on the wave of fans. Like when they're pushing us, we get G'd up and we go for it, whereas I think when Rangers fans start to go on Rangers players, I think they go into their shell.
I mean,
and it was proved by last year.
I can't talk, right, so I've never played professional, but see if you can't get up for an Old Firm because there's no fans, you shouldn't be at Rangers or Celtic. Waking up in the morning and knowing you're up to Rangers or Celtic, you should be ready to go and play, like, no matter what. You shouldn't be relying on fans or whatever.
Definitely, but it's one
I kind of feel like I'm agreeing with you with everything now. I'm kind of sucking up your arse. I actually think like you're spot on there. I think like it takes everything to basically go and play with Celtic or Rangers. If you can't get up for a game like that, then
like, imagine for the next month or something, somebody said to you, we'll pay, you can go and train Rangers. You would do everything just to train with them.
Yeah.
Never mind go out on the park and actually represent them. But I mean, we're talking about, you know, people that aren't actually from Scotland and Rangers and Celtic fans.
See, when you look at the difference, but right,
that's the mentality you need to
here's a question for you,
see before you say that, right? But see when you look at the difference, right? You look at, see when Celtic played against AC Milan, right? I didn't think AC Milan were up too much personally. They're better. They played better than us on the night, but they ran at the park twice and scored, which is again defensive flaws again at Celtic. But if you've got fans, it's a different game. I think like look at Lazio.
In what way?
Look at Lazio. We turned them over twice.
But then look at Copenhagen. It's all if buts and maybes. Like
no, I know, right. But I'm just two teams in the same league. Lazio finished. I always end up third, right? But they were like title contenders the whole last season, and then they've come in this year. And did they not get a good result last week in the Champions League? Can't remember who it was.
They beat Dortmund.
It was Dortmund. Was it 3-0? I think. Was it 2-0? It was something like that.
Don't take a word for that.
3-1 actually. I think it was. I think it was 3-1 it finished, but no. But see, when you look at that, like that's Lazio who are turning over big teams in the Champions League. Yeah. Celtic turned them over twice.
I thought last week, like Tennessee was one of the easiest Old Firms I can remember for us, right?
It's hard to watch.
But see, I said to you, like I would expect. No, maybe not to beat AC Milan, but that isn't a great AC Milan team. Like, it's no. Like, and
you've got Zlatan Ibrahimovic up front. Do you know what I mean?
Name me another.
I know. No.
I mean Hernandez at the back.
Aye, right. But look at the Lazio team last year. Look at the last like that Lazio team compared to that AC Milan team. Lazio are 10 times better. And he's managed them. So realistically, I'm not saying you should be, but it should be at least a standard of we need to go out there and compete.
To be honest with you,
that's where I think the fans play a part.
There was a period for maybe about 20 odd minutes where you were like, right, Celtic are looking brilliant, and then.
To be honest with you, I think the last 20 minutes of that AC Milan game was totally different. I think when you brought your Christie on, when you brought your Tom Rogic on, I thought that they made a really positive impact.
Christie always does that. That's why Christie's such an important player, isn't he?
I think 3-1 was harsh anyway. Because I did. Because look at it, right? They went 2-0 up, right? And then we scored, got one back, and then it looked as if a draw could have came for that.
I think I'm being heavy biased right now.
I think you're on. But I think a draw could have came out of that game, and then. It's like one of the ones you throw everything at it, and then they just go up the park and score, and then it's suddenly it's 3-1. It's a terrible result.
To be honest with you, I think Celtic were abysmal in the first half.
I will.
So to be honest with you,
but we changed. That's the difference.
I understand what you're saying in terms of it was maybe harsh, but is it harsh if we played that bad in the first half? I don't know.
Because that's what Lennon needs to do. But see when you look.
So do you think you deserve something for the game?
The second half performance.
I'm talking about 90 minutes in general. Do you think you deserve something for that?
I don't know. We weren't good, but I just mean we could have snuck a draw. There's times that there's no deserved to, and you've snuck it. But
we'll move on for that AC Milan game. The last game, Aberdeen 3 each. For those who didn't pay attention.
Oh,
another hard watch. We'll not get into it too much, right? So don't want to sit and talk about Celtic for a while, right? But like, when you look at a 3 each result, it ended up being very like Aberdeen were actually lucky, but it was a very up and down game, wasn't it? Like Aberdeen taking the lead and then using.
Yeah, I think like to be honest, I think like Celtic were at the back again. I feel like I'm attacking Shane Duffy, but I just felt that defensively gets caught in behind too much. I think, like, to be honest, like, to win that league, you can't have that many errors defensively.
But I don't know how you go for 3-2 up with 5 minutes to go and then you just watch the full defence implode, because that's what happened. It almost like as if positioning went out the window and they just started rushing towards the ball. Like, we need to get it and get it up the park. Just keep the ball. You keep the ball, you see that game out, you win it, you get 3 points, and then suddenly the pressure's off Lennon because we beat Aberdeen.
Where does the last goal come from? It comes from Shane Duffy getting caught with Scott Wright in behind. Scott Wright plays across and Callum McGregor's caught out. Unfortunately, maybe it's just
see, hang
a lazy tackle.
I don't think if Callum McGregor doesn't foul him anyway, he's going to score. But he's a 6-yard box.
No, they missed.
No, but he got fouled and then he missed after the foul. But see if he's got a 6-yard point blank shot, like he's scoring that, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think MD would.
I think we're all agreeing here that Celtic, until they sort out the back line, I think that it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a hard one.
Just happens when you put 2 million into a loan player just to get him there and it doesn't work out. You need to have. I mean, you've been a wee bit unlucky with not having Julian and stuff like that playing. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't let Simonovic go.
No.
It was a free transfer. Just like give him wages.
See, John Fleach now this weekend, right? I think for Celtic this weekend's game against Aberdeen in the semi-final is bigger than the Old Firm. To me, if you don't go through, right, it puts a lot more pressure on Lennon. But see if you are having a dodgy spell, right, and you can get a wee cup in between that'll lift everyone.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of a cup lift. It would be good in terms of it would maybe lift the players in terms of what they've kind of been going through in the last couple of weeks, and maybe it's that wee boost that they need. But the way I look at it is, if they don't play well, if they don't perform, Rangers have got a game at the weekend in the league. They win. That's 9 clear.
It's a tough game, but I think that it's a potential
slip up
banana peel.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if they do win, that's 9 clear. That's a big gap already.
But at the same time, it was 14 clear because of the games in hand, and it was that's suddenly a lot of pressure on Celtic. But no, but
I know you get points on the board.
You would definitely, especially obviously coronavirus not going about. But I think there's too much panic.
Maybe
there's far too much panic. I think everybody just needs to relax.
What was it the commentator said? He said the Aberdeen game, that the last time Celtic didn't win in 3 games was like 2007 or something.
Yeah.
So he's up and it's a big season. So if you don't get a win in like 1 or 2 games, you do start panicking. But what do you think about the semi-final? He's confident.
I think Celtic will lift themselves. I think they've got it.
In my opinion, I think that was a tough game. Not a bad game against Aberdeen out the way, which, to be fair, I've been rolling Aberdeen over for years. They've owed us something. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the closest they'll get, and I think we've been good in handing the past few years. So I'm expecting to.
I think Celtic will.
I think it'll be a 2-0
themselves up and
2-0 Celtic. I think it'll be early 2, and then I think it'll. Depends who you've got to play.
Scott Brown double.
Oh, I don't
know.
I
think Christie will score.
Christie?
No, Christie will score.
Let me just ask you something now.
Right?
I know you want to move on here, but Scott Brown, there's a lot of talk about him now. Is he past it? I don't think he is. I think Celtic need him in there.
Depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for...
Scott Brown as a leader is irreplaceable now. For me anyway, I believe that...
I don't know how the Celtic players look at him when he's on the pitch. I think ability-wise, there is probably better players in the team, but it's not just about ability with Scott Brown, is it? If you have Scott Brown and then 10 players around him, you're, like, as long as he can still run about, and it's not as if he's not able to move about.
See, the thing is, I want to see the cup final or the semi-final. Sorry, I want to see Turnbull get a wee run out.
That's what I was going to say. Like Turnbull, ability-wise, now is probably a bit ahead of Scott Brown.
No, but I would say right now, Turnbull's fearless. But there's absolutely no reason
he's
why...
He's got everything to play for, Turnbull.
He's got nothing to lose. See if he comes on and plays poor as a young boy, he'll pick it up. Whereas if he comes on and does like a Frimpong played out of nowhere and just...
Let's put it into perspective now, right? You look at Celtic v St Johnstone, right? 0-0, I think it was like the 82nd minute. 0-0, Celtic really struggling to score. Scott Brown comes on, game finishes 2-0, right?
So did Griffiths.
Right, yeah. Celtic at the weekend, and I know that Celtic did drop that penalty, right? But Scott Brown comes on when they're getting beat 2-1
So
in 3-2. I'm not saying that it's.
do you think that's a
Scott Brown,
psychological
So
thing
did
for the
Griffiths.
but yeah, it could be Griffiths.
do you think that's a psychological thing
I
for
think
the other
it is.
players?
I think it is. I think he's in there. He's irreplaceable. I think he needs to play there now. In terms of,
I would as well, to be fair.
I think he needs to be in there. He's,
I think
he's
if
too
you have-
important, I think.
Especially see for semi-finals, you can't come out of that team.
I
He has to be in the middle of that team.
the one thing I think we need to stop putting about is play 2 strikers.
Aye.
Why are we putting
I know for a
El
fact.
Yunusi up as a striker? He's not a striker. Christie's not a striker.
End of last year, see when he's Edward and Griffiths, I used to think, that is powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know why, obviously there's things going on with coronavirus and Griffiths is unreliable, but if you can get A2 fit, I think they'll score goals. But it's not just about that. This season we Celtic scoring goals, these are conceding goals for fun, which is probably the bigger
Yeah,
problem.
and I think that is just what you're saying. The bigger problem is the defence. In terms of Celtic going through a rough patch now, I think that everybody is overreacting. It's early stages. I'm more concerned about the defence and the rest of the field. Do you know what I mean?
We'll move on to the other side of Glasgow. Glasgow Rangers, what are you saying about that?
Yeah, they're just getting results comfortably, aren't they? They're set up well. Everybody knows what they're doing.
I think it's fair to say Gerrard's done really well at Rangers.
I'm just praying for one thing. No Dubai trips in January, man. That's all I'm thinking. When you got to Dubai, mate, I'm not paying attention to the second half of the season.
Got to
the
see a new wedding
thing
sign.
is, like, just what I said earlier, I think Gerrard's, what makes him a wee bit different now is he can basically change his team, determine what opposition he's playing, and that's the difference. I think.
Even you look at the weekend playing Livingston, you think, right, we've got Morelos, Roof, and the other side. He just throws in 38-year-old Defoe, and he just scores that. Like, do you know what I mean? You've just got that. Whatever game we are playing, he's got a striker to play.
But what do you make it in Roof? Obviously, Roof scored that 50 something yarder. So I mean, that's an absolute wonder strike, right? But are you keeping him fit all year?
That's the thing. I don't know. I've never seen Roof play before he came to Rangers, right?
He's had hamstring problems at Leeds and in Anderlecht. And he's already been in the door about a couple of months when he's had the hamstring problem.
That's something that's out of my control. If he plays, I think he looks as if he'll score goals. Itten's not been really given.
I don't think he looks up to much.
I think he does. I just think it's like
he scored it for you
twice. James scored against Motherwell twice. One was a.
You know,
we won more than a month.
No, I don't watch
You don't watch Rangers. You're getting yourself on, man. But I would think anyway, right? So say for you that play, right? I don't play, Christ, right? But if you were on the bench until the 75th to the 85th minute and you came on, are you confident? Not even confident, because obviously everyone believes in themselves, but how much can you do in 5 minutes?
Well, it's hard, isn't it? Because, like, you're coming on a game, you need to get to that pace very quickly, the pace of the game.
And another thing I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, but we're winning games, so see when they're coming on, we're not frantically attacking if we're like chasing a game. It's just, by that point, it's passing about the side and all that, so the chances are limited and all.
But is that something you need to start? I don't think. Well, everybody's saying, "Oh, Morelos isn't scoring," but everything else he's doing brilliantly. So he's turned into a complete. I don't think he's up too much. I don't rate him.
Honestly, I'm starting to worry a wee bit. Honestly, like see how Morelos would have these few games, right? And
he's went for about 25 million to about 8 million.
8 million. You're kidding yourself on there, right?
Do you think you can get that from the now?
What? 8 million?
Aye.
Morelos, absolutely. I think he's
on current form.
That's
what I'm talking about. Current form. You don't pay for people. It's just about the asset of having him. He's worth more than £8 million.
I think he needs to get aggressive again.
If Ollie McBurney went for 20, I'm not saying Morelos will reach 20 to English money, right? As I said, but you can't even pay £8 million for Morelos and £20 million for McBurney.
I think you need to get Morelos angry again. No, I do, because he's pure calm this year.
No, he's not. Do you not see him then? Right in the back of his head.
But do you know what I mean?
Honestly, see when he done that, I was just sitting like, this boy just will not learn. Like, I was like, I cannot believe you. See if the referee sees that, you know what he's like.
That is a concern with Morelos. Like, he's, what's the word?
Loose cannon.
He's
he is a loose
temperament.
Cannon. That's the one. That's the only concern with Morelos. I think he's a fabulous player. he just what you're saying, like the rest of his play, he might not score a lot of goals, but the rest of his play, his link up and the rest of it is next to none. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have Morelos in my team than not have him.
I thought you were about to say an Edward, and I was about to say
No.
don't even start that
No,
conversation because
no.
I would just bring.
And Edward, a fit Edward is the best player in Scotland.
It's hard to agree, isn't it? Like, after last season, he was unbelievable. But I think the now for Rangers is like we're not even really playing that well. Like, and that's the scary thing that I'm like see against Livingston, the first 20 minutes.
Year to go.
Aye, like the first 20 minutes against Livingston were unbelievable. I thought after that lacklustre. Like I thought really like a really on form Rangers team would have got 5 or 6, but we just seem to get 2-0 and just be comfortable with that, and then just the rest of the game just kind of draw it out. But I suppose that's
fans.
Think so?
Yeah, definitely. Look at last year. See, when you look at like Celtic and Rangers, like all the way up to about Christmas, even after Christmas, a bit in spells. Do you know what I mean? There was 5-1s, 6-1, 6-0. Do you know what I mean? High scoring games, and I think that's because Rangers take the foot off the pedal. They've won the game. So even fans are behind it. They're not sitting watching 70 minutes of you passing the ball, but do you know what I mean? They're getting on your back to attack, and it's getting you going. Somebody shouting you, so it must play in a footballer's mind that they need to change up what they're doing and go for it a bit
I feel
more.
this season, like obviously I'm not getting ahead of myself now because of the past 2 seasons after January. I just can't bring myself, but like I just feel that now as if like if you put any team in front of us, I'm not saying like your superstar teams, but like honestly I feel like confident in enough against any team now.
That's what I'm saying. I think Gerrard's got that in his locker to set Rangers up the now to go against most teams and at least put on a good display. Do you know what I mean? Like a good account of themselves. Do you know what I mean?
But I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. But if Celtic win their game in hand, it's 3 points in it. It's early on.
See, the
Spans getting ahead of themselves saying, I've seen people into it. Oh, like the league's over and that. It's October. Don't even bring that top up.
Well, what was that thing? It was Jelic said that the league's won by Christmas.
That was a different taste, but we were like 15 points. But we didn't even win it. That's
what I mean. See when he said that, it was like about this time before Christmas, and then see by New Year's January 1st, Celtic were a point ahead.
But that's the thing, you can see that. See when you see last year when we won at Parkhead, Gerrard Bowman on the camera in it. Didn't have any of that this year.
No.
I think there's a pure understanding in their team. We don't even start thinking about, we just go in and win games and see when it gets to like March time, then we start like it's winning games towards the title run. I think now it's just every opponent they're in, just beat them.
And I think that's the best way to be when you're going for a title. Do you know what I mean? I think like
until the split, really, you shouldn't like. I think it's just win.
That it's. I don't think you can even. Obviously, the players will have a rough idea. Like that's their aim. They want to win the league, but they need to take each game as it comes. Do you know what I mean? I think when you're a footballer, especially in Old Firm, like, and you're going for that league, you just can't afford to let it slip. Do you know what I mean? Especially in this season, it's so important. Like for both teams, like for Celtic to win 10 in a row and for Rangers to stop them, it's so important that both of them basically don't let it slip. Do you know what I mean? Celtic are now.
But it will be interesting to see, right? Because obviously it's easy. Like I'll go back to just see over the course of this season. Obviously, Rangers have been quite lucky so far that they've not had any players out with coronavirus and all that, right?
Different players with injuries, but
but see what I will say is I think coronavirus throws it off a lot more because you don't know what's happening with your player, and then maybe shit was about to happen, and then suddenly you need to change everything because of something. Like, think how many times Neil Lennon's had to write down his team, scrunch it up and throw it in the bin over that international.
But that's stuff behind.
No, but that's
I'm
what I mean.
talking about the period of time that people aren't off pitch. We've had the Roof injured, we've had Itten's been out ever since he came in, he was out for a bit, we had Ryan Jack injured, we had McGregor injured at the start of the season when McLaughlin was able to win, we've had Aribo injured, like we've had injuries. Borner's been out for 1 or 2 games. Like we have had injuries.
Borner's your mate, aye.
Borner. Maybe Borner's a wee bit sound. I've got a better left back than him, but
no, all I'm saying but is it'll be interesting to see because stuff will change and you're not going to get to decide what happens and what doesn't.
It's too early to talk about that, but what I will say is keep playing like this, man. I'm happy.
Look what happened to St Mirren, was it? Did they not lose all 3 of their keepers?
Aye, yeah, they did, aye.
Those all 3 and had to get them in sailing.
Aye, I know, mate.
Like that ending can actually change.
Bobby's Lamal.
Aye, there's a lot for Hearts.
Like Fabian Barthez, didn't he?
I think he actually played well when he played.
But we'll move on to that. Hibs, Aberdeen, the battle for third.
I think it's a tough
That's
one.
a good one.
Obviously, it was a head-to-head, and obviously
Talk
Aberdeen
about
were better.
two for 2 seconds. The two players, the top of the top scorers. Lewis Ferguson's top, and then Nisbet behind him.
Nisbet is a player.
Isn't he? He's got something about him.
I'd
Isn't he?
sign him for Celtic. I would sign him. I'd play him over Kamala anyway.
Obviously, I know Fergie. I think he's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? I think like, especially in the last couple of years, he's came in.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're sitting straight. He may born that. I Fergie man.
I know.
He's got to be Fergie
man.
man. I Fergie's raging.
So I think like he's really come into his own in the last like season or two. But for me, Nisbet, wow.
Everyone was talking about Shankland. Though I've been seeing Nisbet.
Do you want to know the first time
Why
I
seen
ever
him at
heard
the
of
Scotland
Nisbet?
Club yet? I'd get up straight away.
I remember it was like last January in the Sun put a hang about Rangers are tracking this guy Nisbet, and I was like, what was this about? Clicked on it, and he had scored hundreds of goals in the Championship, but nobody was talking about him. They're all talking about Shankland. And then in the summer he signed for Hibs, and then everyone was still talking about Shankland. Now he's top.
Thistle released him.
Who?
Partick Thistle released him and he went to Rafe,
So
and
did
then went
Hibs.
on fire.
And then he went to Dunfermline for that, didn't he?
So did Hibs. So what a story that is, when he was 17.
I had to release for Hibs.
I'd sign him, but in a heartbeat.
Definitely, I think he showed enough.
I can get him for 1 or 2 million, right? They might want more, but
Hibs are never letting him.
no, right. But see when you look at it, but what did they want for him again?
3 mil.
3 mil.
3 mil.
Is that what it wanted?
Oh no, the fact
Is it
the
no
Celtic
more
no
than
pay more than no. I'm pretty sure Aston Villa paid 3 mil.
Yeah, no, it was
Celtic
they wanted 3
Celtic
mil, so they
paid
were 2.5.
Aye,
Really?
aye.
But see when you're looking at like, it's a whole different like this season or the past couple of seasons. See Celtic get like. He's a player for he's a younger Scott
What
Brown.
age is he? Like 20, 23, 22?
So he's young. So I mean, what's he went for a £3 million player to a £30 million player in Aston Villa?
But I think the original question. I think like if Nisbet keeps on doing what he's doing, I know it's more than just that, but I think if he doing what he's doing, I fancy Hibs to finish third. Aye, for me.
Aberdeen, obviously.
I know. It's such a tough one.
He's just at Cosgrove coming back.
The thing is, McInnes is like he is a good manager, and the fact that
So's Jack Ross.
I but
Jack
he's
Ross is
consistent. No, but
unbelievable.
then McInnes is consistently like obviously there's
He's
within the budget. He can go as high as they can go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Jack Ross was obviously got moved down to Sunderland. Couldn't he get?
Didn't really work from that.
No, he was at Sunderland with the highest budget in the full season. Couldn't he get promoted?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just came back to Scotland.
For me, I think Jack Ross is an unbelievable manager.
Aye,
definitely. I think like.
So the first half of the podcast you're sitting up my arse, and the second half is Jack Ross's off.
Aye.
No, but see,
definitely, mate.
they've already played, but in Aberdeen rolled them over comfortably.
What was the score in that game?
It was 3-0, I think.
Aberdeen?
At Easter Road.
Right.
Only kidding.
No, I think see if Nisbet keeps going, he will not be at Hibs longer.
Well, the thing is, Aberdeen can get a draw against your Celtic and your Rangers, whereas Hibs have played Aberdeen, Celtic and Rangers and came away with 8 points.
Was that? I wasn't even listening. What did you say there for that last sentence?
Nobody's listening.
I was just thinking about Nisbet for a minute.
Hibs have played against Aberdeen, Celtic and Rangers and came away with 8 points.
No, they drew against
But I
Rangers.
think just what you're
When
saying.
was that?
That's who Rangers drew against, are we?
Was that at Easter Road? Oh, an absolute disaster.
Christ.
No,
That's
but-
why. See when you said that, I was like,
But like what I'm saying as well, Aberdeen have got Celtic at a good time.
So
I
it's
think.
2 each for it.
Do you know what I mean?
he's raging the way he's went.
That's what he's done.
But I think Aberdeen have got Celtic at a good time. Do you know what I mean? Like Celtic have been kicked down this week.
That was the worst time to get Aberdeen.
And you're playing them again this weekend, so.
I know.
I know. Just hope it goes.
We needed like a wee Ross County to ease us back in, didn't we? Get our 3 points in the board and then go. No, we get Aberdeen.
What would you say, see for the end of the season to come, like you're saying you'd sign Nisbet now, right, but he's on 7 goals now. What, at the end of the season, how many goals do you think he'd need to get to warrant a move to Rangers Celtic?
I think, personally, he's done enough, he's showed enough.
Already?
That
How much do you think he'll get? That's the how much do you think he'll finish on?
I
that's a different
think
question,
18,
isn't it?
19, I think.
I would personally say if he did anything between 18 plus, Rangers and Celtic will be in for him.
Not even Rangers and Celtic, I think like down south will be after him as well.
Aye,
like,
but I mean,
numerous
you're
clubs,
right.
do you know what I mean? I think he'll have the pick at the end of the season where he wants to go.
And then that comes into it, I know. Do you want to go and sit on the bench? Possibly for the first wee bit. I mean, we don't know. He could go and he could say for Rangers and Celtic, score blah 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 and then beat. But there's a lot of risk.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Sitting on the bench.
Me personally, I think Edward's going to go in the next year.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's
just
about that replacement who's coming
aye,
in.
well, that's what you need to start thinking of. What do you go for?
But I think
If you want to go out of Britain, you end up with a gamble like Klamala.
But
It's not up too much, and then you could get a Nisbet and goes the league.
I feel that it's not even just Edward that will be away at the end of the season. I think you might find like a lot of that.
It's the end of a story, isn't it? The 10
Exactly.
if he's get it or
Exactly.
not.
So you look at Ayer. I think Ayer's different class. Even just now, I think he's like
He loves a slide tackle, but
he loves
he's
a
doing
slide
straight
tackle,
away.
But look at him taking the ball out for the back.
No.
With
Under
the ball,
I
he's
think
with
under the
pressure.
right type of manager, he could go
Yeah.
the
To the top.
I know,
Yeah.
I know you're two Celtic fans, right? But we've already spent enough time talking about them. Do you know what I mean? Right? I start ideas a subject and you just boring me away back and about talking Celtic, remember, right? Or Dominic Nisbet and that, remember,
right.
aye?
Because we're bored of your Charlie, right?
Bored of my
Go
chair.
on then.
Wait, you want me to finish?
No.
Nice.
I do think
Absolutely not.
I think Aberdeen, you've shown it every year. They've got the consistency
Right, you go Aberdeen.
to go.
I'll go Hibs.
If you got, it's a
I
tiebreaker.
think Hibs.
Yeah.
Do you think
Aye.
Hibs?
Aye.
You sucking up my arse now, aye?
Shut your mouth.
I just don't think they've got consistency to go for it.
I just think, like, Aberdeen, I was about to say they don't have a goal scorer, unless Vincent can try to stop scoring. No, but I was going to say, but a lot of his goals have been penalties,
Aye,
right?
aye,
And
that's
you can't
true.
guarantee that, right? That there's always going to be penalties. Whereas Nisbet's just banging them in, right?
Aye.
I think if you've got a goal scorer in your team in the SPL, you're going to finish high up in the league. And
You're at least
Scotty Allen, Jamie Murphy. What's happening with Scotty Allen, by the
I
way?
don't know. I'm not sure.
Did you ever see that thing about how he has to retire?
I seen something, but I'm not sure. Man.
Never heard anything further on that.
No.
Hopefully doesn't he? He's up there by the way.
Oh,
Scotty Allen.
Was
I don't know how he never. No, still now. I don't know how he never got a look in at Celtic. Like, I'm not saying starting, right? But he had something about him.
He came in at a tough. It was. I think Celtic bought him at a pettiness, to be honest.
Celtic signed him like, don't actually want you, mate. It's funny.
Hibs won't refuse to sell me Rangers. All I did was wait out a 6-month
But the
contract.
thing
Celtic
is,
signed him.
like, what you're saying, he's different class. Do you know what I mean? He basically like. is
Porteous
that-
at the back.
What?
Porteous at the back.
All this canon.
No. By the way, we're talking about Nisbet, don't you, Rangers? No. Well,
I take
Rangers
Porteous
said it
as
right.
well.
Porteous, I can't see him ever ending up at Rangers, right? Just because of what's been going on in the games. But he's a Celtic
Gerald
player.
hates him, man.
I'm not.
Very
Remember
bad
that
when we
tackle
come-
last year
I
on-
think they'd still
Remember
take
that tackle last year on my mate Borna? Honking, my mate Borna, aye.
Aye.
Honking tackle, honestly. But
Aye.
he's actually
But-
know.
But he is good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
He's like
Yeah,
a dying breed,
old-fashioned.
isn't he?
Aye,
Aye,
definitely.
He's got that arrogance about him and all.
Aye.
Like that arrogance that he can go into the park and there's no in the Scottish League anyway. There's not a striker that's too tough for him.
By the way, we're talking about Celtic Aberdeen semi-final. The other one's at the Edinburgh Derby. Hibs
Yeah.
Hearts.
Well, it's a very strong Hearts team, but and Hearts
Mate,
are 5 on the trot.
Where would that Hearts
foot
team
drop,
finish in the SPL?
That's a question.
That's a very good team.
That's a question,
Yes.
by the way.
Like
Well
that is.
done. Do you
I
agree
need
with that?
I mean, just speaking to Andy the other day. Aye. I've got all these mates now. No, but talk to me. This will be the last talking point, right? And then I'll end it there, right? We've rambled on far too much, right?
Aye.
Hibs Hearts. What's happening?
I think I still fancy Hibs to win it, but
I fancy Hibs, but Hearts always seem
Hearts
to
that strong
top
team.
the Edinburgh derbies, didn't they?
No fans for an Edinburgh Derby. I don't know how that works right
And
there.
Hampden as well.
Aye.
Die up.
Just-
You can't hear the fans. You can't hear the fans anyway. Hampden, man, they're that far away. But I think, do you know what? I think Hibs will win, right? But that's a tough game. That isn't an easy game for
You
us.
start getting fans back sooner.
Is Stephen A. Smith fit?
Aye.
Is he?
Aye. But I think as well.
How's Stephen A. Smith?
Who's the boy up front again?
Nisbet. What have they spoke about him,
For
mate?
Hearts.
Oh, for Hearts. I could not tell you, mate.
The boy that was at Burton,
Oh, Liam Boyce.
Liam Boyce,
Aye.
mate, he's different class as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a strong team. Do you know what I mean?
Is that,
Mate,
that-
Liam
is that
Boyce
the
and
game
Naismith
still
up
play?
front together in the championship. That Tinsley,
Well,
did you see his
Piazu,
goal?
that's it. Upamecano.
No, he's away.
He's away,
He's
yeah.
away, man.
Where'd he go to? Just some random team.
Do you know? No, wait, it was the
Down
same. Do you
south.
know what? It's the same team as I can film with.
Oh, wait,
It's
Wickham.
What is Wimbledon?
It's him and I can film with.
Wimbledon, it's Wickham.
Wickham, man.
Aye, yeah.
Wickham's the slow one, but
That's
then
it, he's like that, man.
I know he's like that, back.
He's
No,
still
one
doing
each,
that.
one each.
Aye, I had Hibs, I think it'll go extra time, you know.
I don't know. I think it'll be.
No.
I think it'll be like a 2-1, and it'll just.
I
I think you're going to turn it on, not BBC One, and just going to
could
watch
Long
it,
balls.
watching
No,
paint dry, man.
nil the whole 90 minutes. Ryan Porteous header in the last 5 to put them through.
You've called it.
I've called it now.
Nice.
Watch this, mate. Watch Ryan Porteous be injured or something.
You want to have a wee bit on it? We'll try and predict the results of both games. If you get both of them right,
I'd win it.
we'll put a fiver in. We'll say our hingies
Right.
in the winner. If they get, you need to get both results right. But
Right, Celtic Aberdeen, 5-0 Aberdeen. Nah, I think this will be a turnaround for Celtic. I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think they'll actually win it quite comfortably. I
Yeah,
think
I
they'll start. I think they'll
Celtic
start Griffiths, and I
Mhm.
think I'll go for 3-0 Celtic.
Yeah.
so I was going to say, but I'm going to need changes.
I'll
I'm
go-
going to need changes.
I'll go 2-0 Celtic.
2-0 Celtic.
I'll go 3-1 Celtic
3-1.
because it's all
Oh, I how much
goals,
is
innit?
Celtic will need to concede? Christ, Shane Duffy's playing. It'll be 4-4.
Yeah, we've got
No,
Edinburgh
but
derby.
I think now I think it's turning point for them.
Hibs
I
Hearts.
fancy a clean sheet
Aye.
for Celtic. Aye.
Hibs Hearts. I'm saying 2-0 Hibs.
2-0 Hibs. I'll say 3-2 Hibs.
You know what I was about to do there? I was about to say 2 each. 1 minute after saying Ryan Porteous is going to score the winner. I'm ready to stick to that. I'm ready to stick to that. 1-0 Hibs. And then a Celtic Hibs final. That would be a cracker, wouldn't it?
I'd rather Hearts in the final.
Aye.
To be honest, I'd rather Hearts.
Right, we'll leave it
Aye,
at
guys,
that.
will-
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
I'll
Right.
leave it at that.
Cheers for watching,
Cheers,
boys.
guys.
Cheers.